So on to probably the most important aspect of our lives of the weekend, and that was probably the 3 hours that we spent on Sunday. Well, 3+ hours with the first overtime game in Super Bowl history, the Atlanta Falcons versus the New England Patriots.
I can't believe we had an overtime Super Bowl. I'm still in shock over that.
The first thing that I said, Brett and I had kind of talked a little bit during the game, and I told him the stories that we grew up hearing from the adult males in our lives of athletes that came before our lifetimes, like that we might not necessarily be able to appreciate, like a Joe Montana, things like that. This game is going to be something that we tell our kids when they're
unbelievable.
11 years old, because this game might be the best football game I have ever seen in my life.
And I think, the last couple years, I don't think especially last year, we hadn't gotten a great Super Bowl. And, we already heard people saying, the Super Bowl is always a blowout. No, it's not. We've had some amazing games.
Super Bowls.
Both Patriots-Giants games.
Yeah. The Arizona
Pittsburgh. That might be my favorite Super Bowl of all time.
Pittsburgh-Green Bay came down to the end.
Pittsburgh-Green Bay, the last time the Patriots won against the Seahawks.
The only blowout game was the Seahawks throttling Denver. Because last year's game was close, Denver and Carolina. It was just an ugly game that people didn't care for.
Yeah.
But it was a close game.
I think Denver had Carolina's number in it, but that's for another day.
Right.
But this was an absolutely amazing game, and it frustrates me when they say, the first 3 quarters were too boring, like, I turned the TV off. Yeah. No, this was
a great game.
Dang good football game.
Yes, absolutely. But there was a couple of things that I wrote down specifically about this game, and if I miss something, guys, feel free to stop me. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to have a 0-0 first quarter to start, which was just...
And an interesting fact, Patriots with Tom Brady have never scored in the first quarter in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've never scored in the first quarter, and of all 51 Super Bowls, I think there's been 13 decided by 3 points or less. The Patriots have 6 of them.
Yeah, every Super Bowl that Tom Brady has won, they've only won by
They've won or lost by 3 points.
Yep.
I mean, wow.
So for some reason they don't want to score in the first quarter, but
they want to make it interesting. Good TV.
The second thing, a player that I thought had a good game that definitely earned himself some money, even though he thought going into this week he deserved it. Devonta Freeman, I thought, played a very good game.
He did.
And backed up his claim to get big-time money.
And I thought Tevin Coleman played very well,
yes,
too. He had that receiving touchdown. But I think those two definitely made their case as the best duo in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the other two guys on the other side, I guess maybe more so as receivers, James White had an incredible
I was
game.
so happy. I was so happy for him.
Super Bowl record, 14 receptions.
Yep.
But Dion Lewis, I mean, if that injury is severe, you pray for him.
From what I read yesterday, he was all smiles and said everything's good.
Because that just nobody's around you and you go down like that.
That was pretty much Jordy's injury.
Yeah, it's scary when things like that happen. So there was a sequence in the game last night where Matt Ryan threw had to be probably the most perfect ball, and that catch that Julio Jones made. When that catch happened, everybody that I was with immediately was like, "No, there's no way he caught that." I'm like, "I promise you,
I knew he caught that."
Yeah, he even got 3 feet in just to make sure.
Where does that rank among some of the best Super Bowl catches with Tyree, with Manningham, Santonio Holmes, Lynn Swann?
When I saw that catch, I immediately went, "That is the best catch in the Super Bowl." That was my immediate reaction. I kind of had to settle down a little bit, but that's just how great that catch was. I mean, it wasn't a touchdown, but I don't think I've seen as an athletic of a catch like that that I can remember. Just pure the stretch that he had to give and the ability that close to the sideline was incredible.
And I agree, the catch was absolutely amazing, but I don't know if people are going to be talking about it because it didn't amount to anything.
Right. And the thing is my second point.
There was another good catch.
Was then you had Julian Edelman's catch, which was just
the concentration was. I mean, you got to show that to every high school wide receiver in the country.
I think that Julian Edelman catch will now, like a lot of people said, David Tyree's was the best.
Up there.
I think Julian Edelman's will surpass David Tyree's. I think that this catch, because of bouncing off of a leg and then being literally, half an inch off the ground, I think this catch will surpass David Tyree's and be probably the best catch we've ever seen in a Super Bowl.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be surprised.
And as soon as it happened, I texted my dad and I said, that is the Tyree moment. And the fact that 3 of the past 4 Super Bowls the Patriots have played in, there's been a catch like that that has been game-defining.
Right.
I mean, when for Julio's was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, I didn't get to watch a lot of Falcons games. I bet he made a better catch during the regular season, but it won't go down.
I'm sure you're right. And the pass was great, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The pass had to be perfect, and it was.
Yeah. And I didn't, first watching it, I didn't realize how close Rowe was to, how well defended that play was.
And that's what makes it so spectacular was how... Now, going into this week, I was kind of debating with myself a little bit as to who the best receiver was in the NFL.
You were?
Well, just because I think, a lot of people, obviously people are going to be like, oh, well, obviously it's Julio now. But I think you have to give Antonio Brown credit for what he's been able to do, even though he hasn't necessarily had weapons around him, other receivers, since Mike Wallace has left with Martavis Bryant going through suspensions the way that he has. But looking at Julio Jones, now it's definitive. He is the best receiver. And I went back and looked at his college numbers, his combine, and I was like, I want to compare him to some of the other guys that he measured at 6'3", 220 pounds. He is faster than Antonio Brown. He ran a faster 40 by almost a tenth of a second than Antonio Brown.
He was hurt.
Yeah, and he was hurt. He jumped like 12 feet on the broad jump. This dude is unreal. He had a 40-inch vertical. This dude
that's why the Falcons spent so much on him.
This guy is unreal.
And traded up. Probably the greatest decision in Atlanta Falcons history.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Over picking Matt Ryan.
Yeah, he is going to be in that.
He's already in the hall.
Yeah,
he's already
right. But he is going to be not just in the hall, but he is going to be in that Randy Moss, Jerry Rice conversation. I think when it's all said and done for him,
you could be right.
He's incredible. Kyle Shanahan probably had the worst second half of his life last night. I thought calling that
he was
game,
already packing up for San Francisco.
That's what it seemed like. A couple conversations that I had today. One was when you're up 28-3 on the Patriots, you have to anticipate a comeback. So you don't run clock. You try to score. Was one thing that I was told. I thought about that, and my initial reaction was, if I look across the football field and I see Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or Peyton Manning, I am running as much clock off as I possibly can because I know those 3 guys are going to find a way to make this game close, and if they make it close, they're going to win. I'm running clock. Yeah. Just me personally, I didn't understand what Atlanta was trying to do in the second half of that game.
Neither do I. No, I don't know. And the Patriots defense, they were coming after Matt Ryan.
Oh, no. I think that strip sack was at the third quarter, late in the third quarter.
End of the third.
Where they sacked him.
That's really where that's where the momentum was shifted, and it was all New England after that.
Yeah, it didn't make any.
A lot of people will go back to that final their final drive where they had the chance to kick the field goal.
Right.
And everybody's going to give Shanahan a hard time because he didn't run the ball, but Matt Ryan has to throw the ball away. And then you don't expect a holding call on your offensive lineman to make it third 33.
Right. No, I agree with you, but at the same point, late in the game, they had a situation where it was 3rd and 1, and they decided to throw the ball, and not a single person ran a short route. It was all intermediate, deeper routes. It's 3rd and 1, and what I don't understand is New England, and I said this going into, I said that my key to the game was going to be Atlanta's running backs versus the Patriots' linebackers, and the Patriots couldn't cover Devontae Freeman or Tevin Coleman all night. And I just don't understand why you wouldn't draw up a play on 3rd and 1 where you could ice the game and dump it down to a running back.
That's puzzling.
It worries me for the bleak future already that San Francisco has. Now you kind of look at it and say, well, if this is how he's going to be in the big moments, what's it going to be like as a head coach?